and we have to settle all illegals without checking, without check. You know, she's a radical left person, just so you know. There's no way. The biggest problem with her is nobody knew who the hell she was. Just say, who's running? Harris. Harris, who the hell is Harris? They said Kamala, the one that failed, the one that was the first one out in the 22-person campaign for the Democrat nominee.
And President Trump went on to talk about Operation Aurora, talking about dismantling any of the illegal immigrant situations, operations that are in this country. Just yet another step that President Trump is taking as the 47th president. If he wins, we believe he will. Everyone's working hard. And of course, we'll be getting possible and working with other people, you know, getting family and friends and getting them out to vote, because at the end of the day, that's the power we have right now. We have the power of prayer, and we have the power of speech, and we also have the power of our vote to get this thing in the right direction. As you're taking that live look there, Nevada, gorgeous area. I remember flying into the Reno airport. You fly right to the east of Lake Tahoe. This was for an event last year as we were getting ready for coverage for the Nevada caucus. As you guys probably remember, Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada. And we saw President Trump win after win after win, because the people of America want a winner in chief. And that is who President Trump is and was during his first administration. Looking forward to the more of the same and even better. The platform promises that have been released at the RNC, starting out with sealing the border and all the way down to number 20, uniting our country and having it be successful. So many great points in that platform right there. Now, all around the country, and speaking of all, Virginia U.S. Senate live right now from the great Commonwealth of Virginia. Sir, thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you so much for having me.
Your thoughts? I mean, we've got 25 days to go.
It's exciting. If I was a betting man, I would bet on Virginia, because we're coming out of nowhere. I know there's a lot of polls out there just...
days to go.
It's exciting. If I was a betting man, I would bet on Virginia, because we're coming out of nowhere. I know there's a lot of polls out there just there's off the wall charts. They're like, oh, they're going to lose by 1 million points or whatever. But we have our own numbers and things are looking good. But what we have is the results of early voting. And usually the first day, it's always leaning about 40% Democrat. But for this one, even though there's 20,000 more people that voted this year than they did in 2020, there's only 16% leaning Democrat. That means we close the gap by 24%.
It's wild to see all of the numbers and all of the polling and all of the people at all of these events across the country. It looks like a super majority of people support President Trump. But at the end of the day, sir, can you just share with people, hey, you still have to go vote?
No, absolutely. That's why we do the early voting, because anything can happen on election day. You know, you get a flat tire, the kids get sick, or, you know, for heaven's sakes, you know, it rains or something like that. You can't get there. And so we need to bank your vote early. Also, what it does is it allows us to not contact you anymore, and we contact more moderate voters, you know, the undecideds. It allows us to spend money on them, because every text message is 5 cents. Every mailer is about $1 and some change. And so it all adds up, and we want to be able to get as many people out there as possible.
Exactly. Focus in on those target groups out there. So as we know, the fork in the road coming up. Sir, talk to us about why you're running for U.S. Senate in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Well, you know, I came to this country as a refugee from Vietnam, and this country gave me everything. It gave me, you know, hope. It gave me a life, and it gave me a future. And I went to the top schools in the country, including the United States Naval Academy. But I paid back every dime of that American dream with 25 years of service in Navy Special Operations with combat in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Somalia. But they're turning this country what I ran away from, and that's why I retired from the Navy and ran for office, because I can't let this country turn into a communist, you know, socialist country that you know has destroyed so many worlds.
Exactly, and then even possibly worse. I mean, socialism, communism, technocratic type of government. There's so many different options. What we want, as you know, is common sense and truth. Can you talk to us about that a little bit?
No, absolutely. I mean, you see what Kamala Harris is trying to do. She's, in fact, her running mate Tim Walz, right? He's got a snitch line during COVID to snitch on your neighbors. Then in Michigan, they have a snitch line for kids to tell on their parents if their parents are not safeguarding guns properly. And then Kamala Harris even came out and said, well, just because you own a gun, for example, doesn't mean the police can't go knock on your doors and check and see if you're using it properly. And so this is exactly what the communists do. They turn kids against parents. They take away your guns, and then they tell you what to say or what to do. I mean, right now, if you say something that goes against their narrative, then you get canceled. And we see this in Hollywood. We see this everywhere. And even in business, you get canceled out. And this is not the American way.
And I'm so glad that there are conservative industries popping up all around the country to counter any of that junk cancellation process on the left. But sir, can you believe we're even talking the way we're talking here in this United States?
No, this is why I'm running for office, because I'm like, I can't believe it's come to this. Like, this is not my dream. Running for office is not my dream. I left a career of honor to come to this. But honestly, we have to do it. We have to fight, because freedom isn't free, and we have to fight for it every day. And these people are going to destroy this country. And when I mean these people, I mean the leftists. They're going to destroy everything that is American.
Exactly. And we hope to see President Trump as the 47th Commander-in-Chief, and hope to call you the United States Senator of Virginia, Hung Kao. Sir, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. And please go to hungforva.com if you need to find more about Virginia.
Again, thank you so much, sir. We hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so you're looking live there on the right side of your screen. That's Reno, Nevada. President Trump, as you see there, slated to speak in about 30 minutes now. So about 30 minutes out from President Trump taking the stage there. And you heard me at the end there talking to Hung Kao out of Virginia, saying, I hope that you are the next U.S. Senator of the Commonwealth of Virginia, that kind of thing. And obviously we have our opinions sometimes to share, and that's okay. It's an op-ed. You see that in mainstream media all the time. But at the end of the day, it's all based on truth and common sense, based on the Constitution when it comes to freedom of speech, freedom of religion, but also the fact that that's what this is all about. It comes down to those kind of items, those policies, the Constitution of our country. Coming up as this fork in the road is 25 days away. So speaking of days, we're looking at 4 states, 3 days for President Trump right now. In Colorado earlier today, Nevada tonight. He'll be at an event tomorrow around 1 o'clock Eastern. We'll have coverage starting for a roundtable event in Nevada tomorrow. And then he'll go to Coachella, California for a huge rally tomorrow night. So back-to-back rallies all the time. Even these roundtable discussions or remarks or speech or town hall have all become rallies around the country. And then on Sunday, I believe it's Prescott Valley in Arizona. So a huge swing state there. As you know, there may be a lot of swing states. There's 7 of them. 93 electoral votes up for grabs in all of the swing states. The total's up from Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and the like. So I know Arizona has 11 electoral votes. It's all to 270 for the win for the White House. So 25 more days until that huge election that we're going to experience here in this country, and hopefully Thanksgiving and Christmas time and all of the holidays will be celebrated with a smile on our faces, because our country has been restored, at least with a win when it comes to a free and fair election. And then January 20th, 2025, President Trump being sworn into office. And all of the lies that we've been hearing, it rings around in some people's heads sometimes. The amount of propaganda and lies from the mainstream media and the few Democrat leadership people are just continuing to say the same thing over and over again, that President Trump is this or MAGA is that, and they keep it repeating. Well, you can repeat a lie all you want, doesn't mean it's true. freetrumpbook.com, a great sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. Mike Huckabee, a rock star in the conservative movement, as are many of you watching right now. We the people are rock stars, in my opinion, because this country is founded by us. It is our nation, and hopefully under a free and fair election, we'll have our say this November. So freetrumpbook.com, though, the Kid's Guide to President Trump. There's also the Kid's Guide to America's Greatness. There's a number of other titles out there as well. If you'd like to check it out, all you got to do is go to freetrumpbook.com, check out the titles, see which one you like, and you'll have these in your mailbox before you know it. Let's also go to the Trump knife. Our sponsors at Patriot Addict just released another product. There's a lot of products with Patriot Addict. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but if you go to check them out, there's so many different products with them, including this tack knife, as you see there. It's at that website there at the bottom, freeknifeusa.com. You can get more information on that. Now, for a limited time, our sponsors are giving them out at 20% off to RSBN viewers. So use the promo code RSBN20 to save that 20% off. Get yours while supplies last. Go to patriotaddictdeals.com. So patriotaddictdeals.com. A lot of great products on that website right there. Let's also thank the Wellness Company with the medical emergency kit. They've got the contagion emergency kit. All of these sponsors, obviously, they help us provide you guys all of the live coverage that we send to you through Rumble or YouTube or wherever you're watching around the country right now, in some parts around the world. We have some international viewers as well. But we thank our sponsors for giving us the ability to do this. And also the RSBN Donate. If you'd like to donate, we can talk about that a little bit later. But these kits right here, ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, Z-Pak, amoxicillin, a number of prescriptions within these boxes that will just knock out the viruses, bacteria, anything that kind of tries to sneak up on you. Go to makecaregreatagain.com. Use that promo code RSBN for 20% off. I got to take that back. It's RSBN for 15% off. The previous sponsor was 20%. So it's RSBN for 15% off for the wellness kits. There's a lot of these kits on there if you go to makecaregreatagain.com. Since we're on the sponsor roll right now, let's continue on to Birch Gold Group, and then we're going to get you out there live to Nevada. Text Trump to 989898 for more information on Birch Gold. You get a free info kit. That's the way to get the ball rolling. To learn about gold, silver, precious metals, and tax-sheltered IRAs and 401ks. Whenever the dollar is fluctuating, which it has been, because of those BRICS nations out there, it's always nice to have a backup plan with gold, silver, and precious metals. So text Trump to 989898. If you purchase something with Birch Gold Group, you will get a free Fight Silver coin as well. So text Trump to 989898. All right, so it's 6 after 8 o'clock on the East Coast and 5 o'clock out there on the West Coast as we await President Trump to speak at 8:30 tonight. This Friday night, October, 11th. You know, the days are running together. I'll tell you, there's so many events going on, and we're keeping up with all of them. And as you guys see, that live picture right there, brought to you by one of our RSBN camera ops that are there and getting that live footage. And then, of course, as well, sometimes we get to record some footage from earlier in the day. And I know that, and there it is right there, that's Mike Fortin's iPhone video. They're just showing the amount of people in that venue there in Reno. So this is obviously, this is the way it is everywhere we go and everywhere President Trump is, and the pre-programmed speakers, because people love the country. People want their country back. They want the government to not be controlling their minds, their hearts, their decisions. The government, you know, I get having a military and law enforcement and paving roads, and there's some taxes to do that, but not to continue and try and control people's freedom of speech, you know, or all of the other topics that you could think of when it comes to overreach with the government. We want someone like President Trump back in office because he says when we win the White House, he's not saying it just for himself, it's all of us together to make our economy great again, to have safety, to have law and order, to defend our Constitution, to defend pro-free speech situations. You know, this is a pro-free speech network. And there's many people out there that don't want their speech curtailed. Now, if it has anything to do with any threats of violence, of course not. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the free speech. We're allowed to speak a narrative. If we don't like something that the left wing is doing, we should be free to talk about it and have no repercussions. But if you talk about it in maybe Brazil or Venezuela or the UK or in China, you will get what? Some sort of crime or some situation there. So we're not having that in this country. That's not what this country was founded on. We are not going to be following the line of other countries when it comes to that. We want our country to be similar in some ways to Hungary. You think about Viktor Orban, a good friend of President Trump. You think about Jair Bolsonaro, the former president of Brazil. I talk about Brazil a lot if you've been watching. I just love the people of Brazil because I ran into a few of them in Las Vegas. My wife and I were at an event there. We were at the Trump International Hotel, and everybody's speaking Portuguese and broken English back and forth, and they have such a passion for freedom, and they have such a passion for President Trump. They had Trump gear on, they had some Brazilian flags, and Bolsonaro is the Brazilian version of President Trump, and he got that election taken from him down there in Brazil. And you saw all of the videos of all of the people in the streets upset that Lula is the so-called leader there. We don't want to see that happen here in this country. So what else can we do other than pray, work hard, get out the vote, tell as many people as possible, bring as many people as possible, and then pray some more. All right, we're looking live there in Reno, Nevada right now as we gear up for President Trump to take the stage. It's 10 after 8 o'clock on the East Coast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in from all around the country. Those of you that follow me on Truth Social, it's at Matthew Alvarez. The kind comments that I've received recently, thank you so much for those. And we see you here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, not only myself, but all of the hosts and RSBN as a team. We see you guys when it comes to the chats in Rumble, the chats in YouTube, when it comes into any emails that are sent into the network. This isn't something that is untouchable. This isn't something that is, we're on TV and you're just watching. None of that crap. That's the stuff of the mainstream media. We are doing this because we want to be a voice for those of you that might not have a voice to be able to share the truth and the true narrative. As we get a nice close-up shot there of the Trump-Vance sign. Speaking of J.D. Vance, he will be in Johnstown, Pennsylvania tomorrow. Earlier today, I interviewed Carla Sands, who was the ambassador to Denmark under the first Trump administration. She's from Pennsylvania. She's actually from Southwest PA. She said she's going to be speaking at that event tomorrow. For those of you in Johnstown, PA, J.D. Vance, of course, will be there for a live town hall, a live speech there. And if you haven't noticed, some of the speeches with J.D. Vance, all of them actually, have been packed houses as well. People are in love with this country. They want leaders that love them. And that's what we get through President Trump and J.D. Vance. It is authentic, it is real, it is genuine, and it's great. So we're hoping to make America great again. All right, so I'm Matthew Alvarez here again at the RSBN studios. We'll be going back out to Mike Fortin and Christina Loren. As soon as I get the directive to go back out there live, we'll do that. I know that, as you guys have seen so many times when they're at these various events, it's an exciting time to be there, no matter where you are in the country. Fun times, good music, good camaraderie, always fun to chant USA, always fun to chant fight, fight, fight. And always great sometimes back in the day to chant some Let's Go Brandon, a little old school flow for you. But always great to see everybody out there from all walks of life, everywhere from the Bronx to Detroit to Atlanta to Reno, Nevada to Aurora, Colorado, and then tomorrow Coachella in California. I'm looking forward to seeing that coverage in California. Bobby McNeely and Matt Cain are going to be in Coachella. That's going to be awesome, awesome coverage there in the Golden State. Just look forward to seeing the California vibe out there when it comes to President Trump. Isn't it awesome to see not only President Trump, just MAGA, right? The whole movement that this is all about, making our country great again. the amount of gear that people wear out there, the hats and the shirts and the flags and just all of the memorabilia that people collect at these various events. Isn't this such a historic time in our country's history right now? You think about all of the things that have happened over the past 4 years. You think of all the verbal attacks, the lawfare against President Trump. But at the end of the day, God protected him on J13 and then the following time in West Palm Beach. And we're praying for more of that, and also for our law enforcement, our Secret Service that are right there on his detail. And also we the people. I mean, that's a lot of people, about more than 100 million in my opinion. Now that's an estimated guess. But at the end of the day, we've seen so many people supporting President Trump. So we'll see. Round 2 coming up 25 days from now. So let's get to a few quotes real quick. President Trump said in Pennsylvania the other night in Reading at a rally there, "We stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years of our country." We stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years of our country. All of the radical left-wing policies that are trying to be forced onto the American people, forced onto our land, that's just not going to happen, especially with President Trump in office. Now, this doesn't mean a division against, everyday Democrats that live across the country that, have different thoughts and ideas. I'm talking about the radical agenda that is anti-God, anti-morals, anti-freedom, anti-constitution, anti-truth. That's not what our country was founded on, and we have an ability to vote coming up. And many of you have voted early already and will be voting early. And then on top of that, of course, November 5th, not too long from now. So as you see there, some fun times going on in Reno, Nevada. Again, a beautiful, beautiful part of the Silver State there. Not too far from Lake Tahoe there in Nevada, and a little bit of Eastern California, a gorgeous part of the country. And then, of course, tomorrow in California and then in Arizona. So we're looking forward to all of that coverage. You can catch all of it right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. If you're watching on X or Facebook right now, hello to you. If you're watching on Rumble or YouTube or on our app or on the website, hello to you as well. Glad you're here with us. This is 8:16 Eastern Time as we await President Trump. He is slated to speak around 8:30. We do know that he is in the building there in Reno, so meeting some people and talking with some people there. Always great to see the law enforcement, whether President Trump is getting onto Trump Force One or if he's deplaning. He's always getting these photos with the law enforcement in that area, whether that's local, state, or county. It's the proof in the pudding. It shows that the law enforcement across this land support somebody that likes law and order. And I think we all like law and order because it equals safety. We don't want chaos and weakness, and that's what we've had with Biden and Harris. This is facts. If Biden and Harris did a great job, we wouldn't be talking like this. Even President Trump said similar things. He actually said something about that in the debate against Biden. If you remember, he said, "I wish you were doing good." So at the end of the day, we're just talking facts here. So again, in Aurora, Colorado, you saw today the Operation Aurora. This is something that President Trump will enact as the 47th Commander-in-Chief, simply to dismantle any of the operations going on with illegal immigrants in our country. That video of the illegal immigrants going door to door in the apartment complexes with all the weaponry is something that we haven't seen in this country in quite some time, probably a long time, right? So what we're looking for is to seal the border and to end the migrant invasion, and that is the #1 platform plan for the GOP. There are 20 promises to the American people. So you better guarantee that when those 20 promises are on the way to happening. So if President Trump wins this White House, we believe he will. So when he wins, it'll be great to see those 20 promises come down the pike. Now, will they happen on day one? Hopefully all of them. Hopefully all of them can. But I know that President Trump and his team will be working hard for that, and we the people stand with him. Isn't it great that he's not standing alone in this whole thing called fight, fight, fight? He is standing for the country and standing for freedom and standing for what you see right there, joy. He's standing for love. He's standing for strength, peace through strength. Never started any new wars under his administration. You know, when you have I'm going to have to say it this way. When you have a badass in office, that's right, I said badass. When you have a badass in office, you're not going to have people that are smelling any weakness. He shook the hand of the North Korean leader. He knows how to talk to Putin. He knows how to talk to Zelensky. He knows what to say with Benjamin Netanyahu and to organize even better things for the United States and for Israel. He's not wanting people to die. He's saying we want the wars to stop when it comes to the conflict between Hamas, Hezbollah, and Israel. He wants the killing to stop there. He wants the killing to stop in Russia and Ukraine. He's not a guy that's a pro-war president. There are some pro-war past presidents. Well, we don't want those anymore. We never wanted those in the first place. A lot of us were duped. We thought some of the Republican candidates were legit. Well, they weren't. So now we know. Thank God for President Trump, and thank God for awareness, and thank God for God through this time as we are facing a major fork in the road. I'm going to go to a quote from the great Elon Musk. The destiny of America is on the line. The destiny of America is on the line. That, according to Elon Musk, he said that to the Washington Examiner. President Trump, of course, running to be president of all of America. That, according to Trump's senior advisor, Lynn Patton. What a difference a president makes. And November 5th will be Liberation Day. You know, you hear these quotes at various speeches around the country, and you remember them, and there's some that really stick with you. And that one stuck with me. What a difference a president makes. Isn't that the truth? So there you go. You see it, number 47 right there. I said it on the earlier broadcast when it was for Aurora, Colorado. I said, someone told me in Savannah, Georgia, while I interviewed him live, he said, vote 45 and make them 47. Well, it's kind of simple stuff as long as we have a free and fair election, which I hopefully we will, as much as possible. Because at the end of the day, that's our right to vote. It's our right to say who we want in office. A government of the people, by the people, and for the people. As you guys see right there, our friends, our family, our fellow countrymen and women right there in Reno, Nevada. And that goes for any Democrat that's watching right now. You are a fellow countryman or countrywoman. We are on Team USA, Team Freedom. If you love freedom, please vote red. At the end of the day, we know that the radical left agenda, I don't believe that there's that many Democrats out there that really want a radical left agenda. I believe there's a small group, and the mainstream media amplifies that, and we think that that's a lot of Democrats. I know some Democrats, and they wouldn't want what's going on with the radical leftist agenda. So you look at Tulsi Gabbard, you look at RFK Jr., you look at a number of other people that are in smaller offices across our land, and they're saying, you know what, I'm out of here. I'm not going to be a Democrat any longer. I'm going to vote Republican. Now, we can get into the name game a lot if you'd like, but instead of saying Republican or Democrat, how about freedom or communism? How about truth versus lies? How about the true narrative of common sense versus the BS on the left? That's what we're dealing with. I know we've got 95% of the media out there that are 100% on the side of the left-wing policies and radical agendas. And then you've got 60 Minutes trying to dupe the American people, which they've been doing anyway, but they just got caught a little bit more this time with how they...
Come on over, baby, whole lot of shaking going on. Yes, I say, come on over, baby, baby, you can't go wrong. We ain't faking, whole lot of shaking going on.
Hello, Reno. Hello, Nevada. Hello, Patriots. In just 25 days, the great people of this state are going to send Donald J. Trump back to the White House. Inflation will end. Our jobs will come back. Our economy will soar. Your wages will go up. Your communities will be safe. The wars will end. Peace will return. We'll get the woke out of the military. We will get the radical left indoctrination out of our schools. And we will seal the border shut. On November 5th, you will send Donald Trump back to the Oval Office to liberate the United States of America. The occupation of our cities by migrant gangs will be over, and Americans will be in charge of their own country once again. No mother or father will have to fear for the safety of their children. No husband will have to fear for the safety of their wife. And no woman in this country will have to be terrorized by migrant gangs and murderers and rapists and killers. Because this country belongs to the citizens of the United States of America. Now, Donald Trump, for 8 years, has endured so much for all of us. Since the day he came down that escalator, it was one attack, one hoax, one slander, one defamation, one false accusation, one witch hunt, one persecution, one episode of lawfare after another, and then not one but 2 assassination attempts on his life. But Donald Trump is still standing, and he is standing stronger and more determined than ever. And yes, Donald Trump is running against Kamala Harris. He's running against a weak, radical, incompetent, failed socialist liberal. But Donald Trump is also running against the corrupt system that owns and controls Kamala Harris. This is the corrupt machine that doesn't give a damn about you and never has. This is the corrupt machine that for generations has sucked the wealth and jobs and vitality out of this country. This is the corrupt machine that suppresses your free speech, that crushes your liberty, that tries to violate your rights, that tries to indoctrinate your children, that believes that unelected bureaucrats in the deep state, at DOJ and the Defense Department, know better than the actual citizens of this country. The big donors, the big banks, the big special interests, all of the forces conspiring and colluding to take away your voice, to take away your future, to take away your hopes and your dreams as Americans. Donald Trump is fighting every single one of those forces so that you can have your future back. So ladies and gentlemen, I need you to reach deep. I need you to reach deep into your hearts and your souls and organize for the next 25 days. Mobilize. Get out that vote. Scratch and claw. Go through every contact you have. Do the work. Dedicate yourself and pledge yourself to this simple mission. Deliver the state of Nevada to Donald Trump and deliver Donald Trump back to the White House. Thank you. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America.
Let's go hot now. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Congressman Wesley Hunt.
The poem Invictus goes, out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be from my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloodied but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horrors of the shade. But yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, nor how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. President Donald Trump is the master of his fate. He is the captain of his soul. And with you, my brave fellow Americans, we will make him our 47th president. I've had the honor and the privilege of traveling with the president today, and I'm here to tell you he wants to fight for you every single step of the way. He wants to fix our border. He wants more money in your pockets. He wants us to be safe again in our country. And it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter your race, religion, color, or creed. Because the only thing I see in rooms like this across the country are my fellow Americans. I'll be damned if we allow the left and Democrats to divide us along racial lines. You see, I'm a West Point graduate. I'm a helicopter combat pilot. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you something. I know a fighter when I see one. President Trump took a bullet for everybody in this room. And the unbending resolve that he displayed when he stood up and told us all to do what? Fight, fight, fight. We have a fight on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. We have 25 days until we get to dictate the future of this great nation. A nation that people are willing to die for. A nation that people are willing to sacrifice it all for. And what I do know is that the resolve of this movement that I have seen across this country will prevail. We have our fighter. This is our time. And the day is always darkest before the dawn. And I want to end with this. This is a country that's been through so much. This is a country that ripped itself apart in civil war. This is a country that became back-to-back World War champions. You're welcome, world. And yet here we stand. This is a country that went through the civil rights movement, and people like me get to stand before you today as a black man in a white majority district from Texas that President Trump would have won by 30 points. This is a country that endured the Vietnam War. If you're a Vietnam veteran, if you're here right now, please stand to be recognized. Thank you. Thank you. You didn't get your just due, and I'm giving it to you now because I came home to your heroes. Welcome. This is a country that went through 9/11, where 5,000 Americans evaporated just like that. And do you know, for the next week, you couldn't go online and buy an American flag because they were all sold out. Don't forget. And if we as a country can survive all that, with Donald Trump's leadership, I can assure you, we will survive Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Mr. Walz. We have our leader. we have our fighter. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a country to save, and I am so proud to be surrounded by my fellow patriots to do just that. May God bless you, may God bless Donald Trump, and may God bless the greatest country in the world, these United States of America. Thank you.
As you know, this is going to be a historic event. We just had a chance to actually meet the president. We had a chance to get a picture with him. I'm going to post mine on my social media pages, on Instagram, on X. Make sure you check those out. But let me tell you, he is so wonderful in person. He's the same person that you see up there on that stage. And he said that he loves RSBN. I don't think that there is any higher honor that any of us could ever get.
I will say it was pretty awesome meeting President Trump. What a great, down-to-earth guy. Had some really wonderful comments, both for Christina and myself, and we both got a chance to talk to him separately as well. Really just, I'm a little bit flabbergasted. We've seen him so many times, and we've been so close to him, but actually get to meet the man, shake his hand, thank him for what he's done, talk to him just, conversationally about what's going on in the movement, and to get the praise that we got was really phenomenal and so appreciated. And to know, again, you guys watching on RSBN Network, this is the network that President Trump watches. His assistant just came up. President Trump said they watch us all the time. They want to know what's going on the ground. Nobody gets you closer. Nobody gets you into the action, so to speak, like RSBN, because we're here. We're on the ground. We're doing the interviews. President Trump told me specifically, he said the interviews are great. He loves seeing the people. He loves hearing the issues. So when he gets here, he knows what people are actually talking about. So what's important to the people here, that's what President Trump focuses on, and he does that because he's got the intel coming directly live to him from RSBN.
It's one of those moments.
Breathe, Christina, breathe. It's okay. You had a great time. You look so nervous back there, but you did great.
Yeah, thanks. No, it's one of those moments that I'm just never going to forget. I love this man so much for what he's taken from the left, from the mainstream media, in order to fight for this country. He's a soldier for all of us. And so to get a chance to meet him and to hear that he respects the work that we do, there is no higher honor. And he loves the RSBN audience. You guys are everything to him. The fact that he would choose to watch us instead of watching all the people bad-mouthing him from the mainstream media when he's on his way to an event like this is huge. You are very much a part of this movement, and it's a movement that he chooses to give his valuable time to on RSBN. So yeah, no, it's not something that I'm going to take lightly. It's something I'm going to remember for the very rest of my life.
Well, it's great to finally put a face to what we do. We talk about this man so much and so forcefully in what we talk about on a day-to-day basis here on RSBN, and the policies and what he will do and what a great guy he is and all this stuff. But to actually finally, shake hands with him, meet him in person, get a couple of minutes of personal time to have a conversation, it really just goes and backs up, and it reassures you who you're talking about. It lets you know that, this is the guy. We sit here and we praise him so much that now we know it's all for the cause. I'm all in on President Trump. I think, just this moment that we just had here, a moment of a lifetime, really, not only just to meet a former president, but a man who will be the next president of the United States, and to get to spend that time with him. And again, I feel so reassured that what we're doing here is for a good purpose. Not that I didn't know that before, but now having the time to be with the man, it's a completely different feeling. And you can just hear how genuine he is and see it and look directly in his eyes and know that he cares about what he's fighting for.
He knows what he's fighting for. He's fighting for this country. He's fighting against socialism. He's fighting against giving in to the Democrat Party and the mainstream media who have been working in cahoots to try to take control of our country. Kamala Harris has been telling everybody what they want to hear in order to get elected, but President Trump is transparent. And I'm just so grateful for the fact that he would give his valuable time again to us at RSBN. This is the most important person in the world, if you ask me. And that's you as well. He's giving his important time to all of us.
Yeah.
And we're all in this together. If it wasn't for you, the viewers, we wouldn't be here. And for our sponsors that we're so grateful for at RSBN, our COO, Grace Saldana, our CEO, Joe Seals, his beautiful family, everybody's in it together. So a moment like that is shared. And I'm just so thankful to have this opportunity. I'm grateful to God. Divine appointments aren't something that I take lightly, and that was absolutely a divine appointment.
Yeah, it was truly a moment to remember. And as we sit here and we wait for President Trump to take the stage here in just a few minutes, this building is at max capacity. There's still a few stragglers that are coming through the door, but as we look around, you can see this sea of iPhones, you can see MAGA hats, and I can tell you what you can't see behind us is just people wall to wall. This place is absolutely at max capacity. There's so many people, like we mentioned, young, old, and everything in between. The Generation Z is here. Let's take a look so that you guys have a little bit of an idea as to what's happening here in Reno tonight, and this crowd that is just so energized, so happy. President Trump hasn't made it out to Reno so far this cycle, but here he is, and you can see thousands and thousands of his supporters coming from both Reno as well as from Nevada here as well as California to come out, see President Trump, support what President Trump is wanting to do, and throw just so much love and energy his way to continue to make America great again on November 5th.
You know, Donald Trump is a once-in-a-lifetime leader. As we've all seen, he's resilient. He is as tough as it gets. He will stand up to our foreign adversaries the same way he stands up to the Democrat Party who tried to throw him in jail. They tried to get him taken off the ballot. They've dragged his good name through the mud time and time again, aided by the partisan media. But every time they try to take him down, Donald J. Trump comes back better and stronger than ever. He is the only one who is willing to stand up for us, the American people, against the establishment and the corrupt D.C. swamp. He has taken more punches than any other leader in our nation's history, not for his personal gain, but because he wholeheartedly loves this country and the American people. Now is the time to do our part by raising our prayers, our voices, and our votes. Donald Trump stands for us, and we stand for him. We need to support him in any way we can right now. And remember, we're doing that Tuesday night prayer on RSBN, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We would love it if you would join us in praying for the country and praying for Donald J. Trump.
Well, again, President Trump will be out here soon. We were backstage, a little bit of a line to get to meet President Trump. We're so insanely lucky, but you look at President Trump, and he is just bigfooting into blue states. Tomorrow, stomping on into California, going to have a massive rally in Coachella, followed by another rally on Sunday in Prescott, Arizona, where President Trump is already up by a few points. So hopefully going to continue to grow that lead. And like I mentioned earlier, Polymarket has Trump up by almost 11 points nationwide, favoring President Trump to take home the win on November 5th. Truly just days away from what is the most consequential, life-changing election of our lifetimes. There's nothing like it. There's never been anything like it. And I can tell you that the support that President Trump is receiving in these blue states is overwhelming. He's already up in Pennsylvania. He's taking that home. Michigan, he's up in Michigan. Arizona, we already know he's up. California is going to be a tough one, but he's certainly given it everything he's got. Typically, well, I've never known California to flip red, but I can tell you President Trump's giving it everything he has, and he is not afraid to get into California and give it everything he's got, especially now coming up. We know they are making a play. President Trump and his team are making a play for New York, holding what is probably going to be the biggest, well, I don't know if he can top Butler, but it is going to be one massive rally at Madison Square Garden in New York City coming up here just before the election.
You take a look at this crowd. People are dancing. They've got their phones. They're standing on their feet. This is an energized group of people in Reno, Nevada. The 6 electoral votes up for grabs in this state could be the deciding factor in this election. Although we have had a lot of encouragement based on latest polling data, it still looks like it's going to be a tight race. Sounds like he may be coming out now. The music is coming down. The phones are going up. We're going to give it a moment, but as soon as he comes out, we're going to hand everything over to the hope of our nation, Donald J. Trump, who will bring back jobs, who will secure our borders, who will defend our military, stand up for our freedom of speech, stand up for our freedom of religion. We need this man now more than ever, and now is the time to rally our support behind him. Let's listen.
More than any other president. We have created 7 million new jobs, and it led to a growth like we've never seen before. We developed the greatest economy in history by far. When I left office, it changed. Inflation destroyed the lives of so many people. Interest rates went from 2% to 10%. Millions of illegal immigrants, traffickers, and drugs coming into our country. Our country has gone to hell. So I made a decision to run. We're going to make America great again, greater than ever before. I will fight for you with every breath, and I will never let you down. I'm gonna fight like a G, they all gonna see, and if I die, I'm gonna die free.
President Trump is literally putting his life on the line, and he's willing to risk it all because he loves this country.
He is strong, he is fearless, and he is what this country needs right now.
Our cities will be safe, our streets will be clean, and our border will be secure.
We can't allow our country to be destroyed by politicians who will put their own power ahead of the interests of the American people, our freedom, and our future.
The left told me to hate Trump. When you cut through the lies, you realize the truth. American families were better when Donald Trump was president. We were safer, wealthier, and stronger.
So if you love this country, if you want to stand up and fight for the future of our nation, you must re-elect Donald J. Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the next president of the United States, President Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
So a very big hello to Reno. We love Reno, and hello to Nevada. It's great to be back in this beautiful state with thousands of proud, very, very hardworking American patriots. Thank you very much. Nice crowd, big, beautiful crowd. We always have a good crowd in Reno. We love it. Before we begin, I want to send our love to all of the people back east who are recovering from two really devastating hurricanes. Our hearts are with those who lost a loved one, and we are with you all the way. We're getting it straightened out, and we need better help from a thing called the federal government. We need better help from, I guess you could say, from Kamala. They've been very bad. They've been in particular bad to North Carolina and other parts that were really devastated, really bad, but we have to get them on the ball a little bit. God bless them all. God bless you all. Thank you very much. 25 days from now, we are going to win Nevada. We are going to defeat Kamala Harris, and we are going to make America great again. From the very beginning of this journey, I have been on a mission to rescue our nation from a failed and corrupt political establishment, and it is corrupt. And to give you back the country that you believe in, the country that you were born in, and the country that you deserve, and we're going to do it. In that mission, I will never quit, I will never bend, I will never break, I will never yield, not even in the face of death itself. Won't happen. As you know, I'm putting everything on the line to fight for you, and I am also only asking you for one thing. Vote. Get out and vote. Early mail-in voting is underway in Nevada right now, so return your ballot today. Vote Republican at every level. And go, and we know that you're going to vote for Trump, and we're going to make America great again. We're going to turn around our country so fast. Yesterday, it was announced that inflation surged viciously again last month, coming in at a much higher number than anticipated. Your food prices went way up, higher than expected. Your rent and housing costs went up much more than expected. Your car prices went through the roof. Yet Kamala Harris has no plan to fix it. You ever hear her? She goes, well, no, we did everything wonderfully. The place is falling apart. Then she's got ideas. I know what I'm going to do. Why didn't she do it 3.5 years ago, right? Kamala has already cost the typical family $29,000 with her horrible inflation and the cost of inflation. Yet she said this week, when asked the question, that she can't think of one thing she could do differently, right? So, you know what? Take a look at the video. We're going to talk about that. Take a look, not one thing. Take a look at this.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years? There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022. Two men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A fifth illegal immigrant accused of attacking two New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret. Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Only 18% say the economy is in excellent or good condition.
US inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
The cost of homes have spiked. Home buyers need to earn 80% more than they did in 2020 to afford a house.
Were you the last person in the room? Yes.
So that answer that she would do nothing different is totally disqualifying. Our country is in crisis. We don't need 4 more years of gross incompetence, radicalism, and failure. We need strong leadership. We're going to change it. We're going to do such a great job. Your head's going to spin. Your head is going to spin. It's time for the people of Nevada to tell Kamala Harris. Does anybody know the name Harris? If you say Harris, everybody says, who the hell is Harris? That we've had enough. We can't take it anymore. We're not going to take it anymore. Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here. So bad, the worst we've ever had. Look, he's the worst president in the history of this country. The worst. And she's the worst vice president. And she's actually worse than him, okay? We defeated him, and then now we have to defeat another one. I shouldn't have defeated him. It would have been just as easy. Think of it. I spent $150 million to beat him, and then we had the debate, and then everyone said he's out of there, so they got him out. It was a coup, you know. It was a coup. He hates Kamala more than he hates me, in my opinion, and that's a lot. And the problem is that she is actually less competent than him, and that's hard to believe, actually. With your vote in this election, we will quickly defeat inflation, and we will make America affordable again, because you have such a problem. On day one, we will unleash American energy, and I will cut your energy prices in half. 50%. I'm going to cut them. Within 12 months of taking office, we're going to cut them in half. We're going to cut them down 50. You know why? Because we have more liquid gold under our feet. I don't have to deal with other countries. All I have to do is say, let's go. We're going to have very large tax cuts for workers, and especially to help the hardworking people of Nevada. We will, listen to this one, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. No tax on tips. Think of that. No tax on overtime. That's why we're going to win, and service workers in Nevada, they love Trump, and I love you too. Take a little look at this. Everybody, take a look at this.
Tips. News reports confirm Biden and Harris have weaponized the IRS to confiscate your tip money. Harris and Biden have literally unleashed the IRS to harass workers who receive tips. And they just may be coming to your house next. Only President Trump has a plan that ends all taxes on service workers' tips. President Trump, he's on your side.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message. You know, what do I know? But this has to be the tipping capital of the world. I mean, you know. In some places, I say no tax on tips, so we get, nice. Here, I was in Las Vegas 2 weeks ago. I said no tax on tips. The place went crazy. So you're the same thing. But also, no tax, think of it, on overtime. You do a lot of overtime, and that's a big thing. And for those of you who are seniors, now I wouldn't know about that because I'm not a senior. Michael, am I? No. I'll be a senior, another 10 years, 15 years? No, look, for the seniors, think of it. You've been destroyed on fixed incomes with inflation. They have destroyed you because of energy and because of the way they spent, like so stupidly on the Green New scam. But you've been destroyed, and now we have no tax on Social Security benefits for seniors. So. And we owe that to you, what they've done to this country. But, I keep saying still the most important, the border. I mean, we can talk about inflation, and it's horrible. We can talk about it, but they let 21 million people in here, and many of those people, murderers, drug dealers, gang members, people from mental institutions. To me, I watch, they say that the biggest thing is the economy and inflation, and the second biggest thing is the border and immigration. I sort of think it's maybe the other way around. Wait, we do a free poll. Ready? Which is bigger? Ready? I'll go border first. Border and immigration. Pretty big. Or the economy and inflation. I've been saying that. In 2016, I won because of the border, and I made it so good. It was so good within 2 months, we had the best border. And that was it. And then I could never talk about it. My people said, sir, they don't want to hear it. You fixed it. But the problem is this border is 20 times worse. What they've done here is crazy. They either hate the country or something's going on. My message to every service worker in Las Vegas and Reno is this. If you vote for me, inflation will end. Your taxes will be cut massively. Your wages will skyrocket. Your savings and pensions will soar. And your retirement will be more prosperous. You're going to be so much more prosperous. You're going to be more secure. You're going to be safer. You're going to have a much better life. Just vote for me. Let's get it over with, okay? Much better life. Much better life. Under Kamala, it will be massive inflation, massive layoffs, massive tax hikes, and massive misery and depression. Kamala Harris will kill the American dream. That's what she's doing. And for your children, they don't have a dream with these people. These people, look, she's a Marxist. A lot of people don't know what a Marxist is. So let's put it simply, she's a communist. We're not going to have a communist leading our country. She's a communist. She's also known as the taxing queen. She loves taxes. This is the first time I've ever seen, I've been doing this stuff a long time, only for a short time on this side, but I became president. But I've been doing it for a long time. On the other side, writing checks and so I can contribute to guys like Senator John Cornyn of Texas and all. But I've never seen ever, all these great politicians are over here, where somebody's campaigning on massive tax hikes. She's campaigning, we will raise your taxes. And some people, they're not the smartest people, but they go, oh, thank you very much. I've never seen it. I've always heard politicians say, we will cut your taxes. Sometimes they don't mean it, but they say it. But these people openly say that they're going to raise your taxes. Well, let's give her credit for one thing. It's probably the only thing she's honest about. She's going to raise your taxes at levels never seen before, and she's going to drive out all the jobs in the country that I created. Her plan will raise taxes for the typical American family by at least $3,000 a year. Watch this tax video. You have to watch this.
Joe Biden and I are about to get rid of that tax bill.
Calling for a full repeal of President Trump's tax cuts.
If Kamala Harris was elected president, there are many different tax policies which could cripple the economy. But the first thing she wants to do is allow these Trump tax cuts to expire.
Even the New York Times admits
that 85% of the middle class got a tax cut.
Americans will face a hike. The Tax Foundation finding that a couple with 2 kids making $165,000 a year would have to pay over $2,400 more in taxes.
And on day one, I will repeal that tax bill. Joe Biden and I are about to work to get rid of that tax cut. Joe and I are about to get rid of that tax bill. Joe Biden and I are about to get rid of that tax cut.
Everything from a 70 to 80% tax rate.
I think that's fantastic. We've got to increase the corporate tax rate. Part of that is going to be about repealing that tax bill that they just passed. And also looking at estate taxes are going to have to go up. We will tax capital gains.
But we're going to have to raise corporate taxes.
Taxing unrealized gains just doesn't seem fair in any sense of the word.
When the value of your home goes up, you pay higher taxes even if you don't sell your home.
Your value of your home never moves the way the stock moves to say, we're going to tax what you don't have. That's a sore point, and it's a big deal. Is that something you think she firmly believes in?
I think it's part of the proposals of the campaign.
Under my plan, there will also be a carbon fee. There has to be some connection between the fee and bad behaviors, and there has to be, in that we have to monitor whether it's going to be passed on to consumers. But I'm going to tell you that should never be the reason not to actually put a fee, and in particular, a carbon fee.
Kamala Harris is going to significantly raise taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up.
Kamala's plan will raise families' taxes by nearly $2,600 a year. Under Kamala, prices have already soared. Now she'd make it worse with even higher taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up.
President Trump will cut taxes again. No taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
So she's looking to increase your taxes, the biggest economic disaster it will be in American history. I will deliver, and I'll tell you what, we're gonna show you some things pretty soon that are gonna be amazing. What we've done compared to what they've done, we've had the most successful presidency ever. They had a disaster. They've had a disaster. The biggest inflation ever. We talk about the senior citizens. The only reason I did that for the senior citizens is they've been devastated. It's been taken away from them. Everything's been taken away because of their inflation. So I'll deliver the biggest economic boom in American history. It's going to be the biggest. Take a quick look. You see what that says? But let's get back to business, because who the hell cares what it says? Look at that. I love the unrealized capital gain. In other words, it's an unrealized gain, but they're going to tax it anyway. That's a beauty. That'll be the first in history. And in Detroit yesterday, we had a great day in Detroit because we announced we're bringing the car industry back at levels never seen before. And we're going to make interest on car loans fully tax deductible. Because affording a car is essential to restoring the American dream. We're going to restore the American dream. To bring jobs and factories and wealth racing back to the United States, we will have a 15% made in America corporate tax rate. Cutting the tax from 21 to 15, but only for those who make their product. Remember this, I'm the one that got it down from almost 40% to 21. Everyone said that was impossible. That led to a job boom, the biggest boom we've ever had in this country, and the numbers were great. Now, but it was better than competitive. It was good, but it wasn't the best. Now I'm bringing it down to 15, but only if you manufacture, if you make your product in the U.S. How good is that? Right, Michael? You have to make it here. You know, I had one of the top Wall Street guys call me. They said, who the hell gave you that idea? How simple is that? You've never heard anything like, if you make your product here, you get a lower tax. You don't hear it. It seems so simple, like the paperclip. Some guy made the paperclip a long time ago, and everybody looked and said, why the hell didn't I think of that, right? And for those who don't make their product in America, they'll be forced to pay a stiff tariff for the privilege of competing with our cherished companies that we are going to protect because they're stealing our jobs, our treasure, our wealth, and we will take in hundreds of billions of dollars to benefit American citizens and pay. We are going to pay off debt. We're going to reduce your taxes still further. As an individual, we're going to reduce them. And we will be at a level of prosperity, it's called growth, that we haven't seen in 60 years. Her, you're going to have a 1929-style depression. And remember, you know the hat? It says Trump was right about everything. I really was right about it. I was right about everything. You're going to have a 1929-style, not recession, depression. My pro-American trade policies are one of the major reasons why I've been overwhelmingly endorsed by the rank-and-file membership of the Teamsters, including 60% of the Teamster members in Nevada. Can you believe that, huh? Where are the Teamsters? Do we have any Teamsters? Are you guys? Where are the Teamsters? Thank you. They're good people. Traditionally, they go Democrat. But we got all over the nation, they endorse Trump, along with the police, along with the firefighters, along with everybody. Along with anybody that's sane. We got, don't forget, we're the party of common sense. We really are. You need a wall. You need good elections. You need a fair press. You need a lot of good things. You need a lot of good things, and we're going to have very good things. And you don't need criminals coming into your country either, by the way. So as we rebuild our economy, we will also restore our borders. And I've just come from Aurora. I just left Aurora, Colorado, where the person that was in charge of your border, we call her border czar, Kamala, she doesn't know she's alive, I'm telling you. She is so bad. Did you see 60 Minutes? So I've done 60 Minutes many times. I even had the great Mike Wallace, who was actually a great one. Mike Wallace, the toughest of them all. He gave me a great one. But she was interviewed. Her answers were so bad that they put other answers in. They don't do that for me. We're just the opposite. Her answers, they take it away and put new answers in. Just cut them up. So that instead of 4 sentences that are perfect, it's one sentence that proceeds back, and all of a sudden, I used to say to him, why did you cut the hell out of my paragraph? I do the weave, right? Always a weave, right? And always end up in the right location. But I said, why did you do that, 60 Minutes? And remember, I had with Leslie Stahl a big fight. Because she said, the laptop from hell came from Russia. And I said, Leslie, it came from the bedroom of Hunter Biden. It didn't come. And then I proved to be right, and I'm still waiting for them to apologize. But I'll tell you, what they did with her, I believe, is the biggest scandal in broadcast history. I do. If that were me right now, I probably wouldn't be allowed to speak. They'd have me tied up someplace like, sir, would you come this way, please? And when you think about it, I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone, right? He was a killer. If he didn't like you, he would immediately kill you. I've had more investigations. These are corrupt people that we're dealing with. But what happens is this. What CBS did and 60 Minutes did, think of it. Her answers were terrible because she's only, I say it very respectfully, she's not a smart person. And we've had 4 years of that, and we can't have another 4 years because Russia and China and everybody, they're eating our lunch. We can't have another 4 years. So I don't get it. I don't get it. And oh, by the way, we're leading in all the polls. Yeah. We're leading, so we're leading, but we have to make it too big to rig, right? Too big to rig. We're leading by some pretty good margins, too. Michigan, we're leading, the car industry. Those auto workers love Trump. Because, we'll be ending that electric mandate very quickly. And we love electric cars. But, we want them for some people and some people not. We want gasoline propelled. We want hybrids, which are good. The only one we don't want, do you know the one we don't want? There's a certain car. Hydrogen car. They have a new car. The problem is it doesn't go bad often, and it's quite efficient. But when it blows up, you're unrecognizable. Is that my husband on the tree? Let me take a look. I can't tell. I can't tell. No, I don't want that one. I'm not going to do that one. They say they think they can fix it. The word is not acceptable. We think we can fix it. So we'll forget about hydrogen, right? But we have a lot of alternatives, and, you know, we got the endorsement of Elon Musk, you know that, right? And he said it's absolutely imperative we're going to save our country. I have to win. He gave me the strongest endorsement. He's a great guy, and he makes some great things. He helped us so much with North Carolina and Georgia. He said to Starlink, and they had no communication whatsoever in some areas. And they said, "Sir, do you know Elon Musk?" I said, "I do." "Do you think you could get a Starlink?" I said, "What the hell is that? Explain to me." But essentially, it's unbelievable form of communication. So I called up Elon. Hard to get because it's very successful. I called him up. I said, "You know, North Carolina in particular is in big trouble. It's almost been cut off from the mainland, and they have no communication. All their lines are down. This was a terrible thing. And the government's done very little. The federal government's done nothing. She's done nothing. She was like she's doing interviews on these stupid shows, and she's got to get there because they really have problems." But he said, "Well, I'll tell you." And we talked for about a second, and then I get a message from the people in North Carolina. "We want to thank you that the Starlink will be coming soon." I said, "Elon, Elon, how did you do that? We're talking. You agreed to do it before we hang up, that they expect it to be delivered." Nah, he's a great guy. He's a great guy. Saved a lot of lives. He saved a lot of lives in North Carolina. He helped the governor of Georgia. Georgia governor's doing a very good job, but they helped the governor of Georgia with the Starlink a lot. And he was there. I'll tell you, he was there, so he's good. He's our friend, right? Right? Kamala Harris has imported a savage Venezuelan prison gang. Other than that, they're fine people. Known as Tren de Aragua. Did you ever hear them? Tren de Aragua. But don't smile because they'll knock that smile off your face. They're not nice people. That has taken over an entire apartment complex. You know, they are like me. They're in the real estate business. The difference is I do it with financing. They do it with weapons that we've never even seen before. Where did they get these weapons? And is terrorizing the residents at a level never seen. They literally walk in and tell them, "Get the hell out of your apartment." They took over complexes. And they have a radical left governor who's petrified. He doesn't want anything to do with it. He's afraid. He's chicken shit, okay? He's afraid. They're breaking down doors. They're collecting the rent. Isn't it nice? They just come over from Venezuela. They are collecting the rent. Do you think and you know what the landlord said? "Whatever you'd like, sir. You'd like to collect my rent, whatever you want." No, they are actually going around collecting the rent from now on. Let me tell you, if I were president now, those guys would be out of here before you left this room. Send them back. We're sending them back. But they're shooting people. They're smashing jaws, breaking skulls. Watch this video. You're not going to believe it.
Open borders, deadly consequences.
Border crisis. Record high crossings are putting a strain on cities across America.
It is a full-blown invasion.
Armed Venezuelan gang members storming an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado.
When people talk about migrant crime, this is what they're talking about. Biden and Harris had created a program to bring them in under humanitarian parole.
I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been released into the United States.
My 20-year-old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered in her own room. Kayla's murderer was apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally into the U.S.
Kayla's murderer had been improperly released into the United States.
Abolish ICE. Yeah, we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
More than a dozen people suspected of being Tren de Aragua gang members right here in San Antonio.
The gang members had been terrorizing the apartment complex.
New details in the murder of Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national.
And was paroled and released into the country
by the Biden administration.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
Court documents suggest a group of men arrested for beating and robbing a Dallas woman last month are members of a Venezuelan street gang.
Manuel Hernandez was booked by Colleyville police just 2 days earlier and released the day before the robbery.
These are our new citizens. These are the new people. These are the people that we have coming into our country, and we're now known as, and all throughout the world, as an occupied country. We're an occupied country, can you believe? And you know, they have a lot of people. If you think about it, 21 million, not including the gotaways. You know what a gotaway is? Those are the people that just run and nobody knows who the hell they are. But we have 21, think of this, 21 million people, 13,000 murderers, to be exact, 13,099 murderers, the biggest drug lords in the world. They got them all out of Caracas, Venezuela. Do you know that Venezuelan crime went down 72%? Because they put all their criminals into the good old USA. We're not going to stand for it. We're an occupied state that refuses to let our great law enforcement professionals do the job that they so dearly want to do. You know, the law enforcement wants to do the job. They really want to do the job, and they're not allowed to do the job. They want to do it so badly. They're so good, but they don't want to lose their pension. They don't want to be fired and lose everything, lose their family, lose their house. But to everyone here in Nevada and all across our nation, I make this vow to you. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. Liberation Day. My teleprompter people do a great job. Thank God I don't use teleprompters too much. These people, they do a great job. No, I look at the teleprompter's totally gone. I say, what the hell happened? The sign fell on top of it. But I can level with you. Did you see her? Now, here's the good thing. Isn't it nice to have a guy that doesn't need a teleprompter? Isn't it nice? A president. A potential president that doesn't need a teleprompter. When you use it gets very boring when you use one. But how about her? There was 32 days left, and her teleprompter. You know, a teleprompter goes bad a lot. If you rely on a teleprompter, in other words, if you're like Biden, where he couldn't function without a he couldn't function with a teleprompter. But if you need a teleprompter, like to, you know, do like she did, it was just announced. Did you see the picture? She did a town hall using a teleprompter. You can't do that. No, think of it. You're walking around. There's no teleprompter. She's reading a teleprompter. It's following. Oh, it's terrible. You can't have her as your president. You can't have her as your president. But did you see where she was 32, right? It was 32 days. So she's going, and I'm watching her. I said, what the hell's wrong with her? She goes, 32, and the teleprompter went out. She meant 32 days till the election. So she goes, 32, 32. 32, 32, 32, 32. I said, what the hell is wrong with her? I called the First Lady. I said, First Lady, what the hell is wrong with her? 32. And then, thank goodness for her, the teleprompter kicked back in. But usually it doesn't kick back in. Usually it doesn't. It's, you know, you got to be out there. I would say 5% of the time, if you want to do this professionally, like if you want to run for president someday, no matter how good you run, because I have a guy, Gabe, he's excellent. I've had some real bad ones, but I have Gabe. Some of the bad ones, they go so fast. You know, I will go and pop, 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 pop. I say, slow the damn down. No, a good one is really like gold, right? But I don't use them that much because I find it's very boring. The concept I use, but I don't like it. But if you want to run for president, you have to assume that 5% of the time, even if you have good people, you're not going to have a teleprompter. For instance, when you do outdoors, I was with Bernie Moreno. He's doing very well for the Senate. And I think he's going to win in Ohio. He's got a chance. And I'm way up. And I went out, and I didn't want to do it because I said the weather's too bad, but that's okay. I did it. We had 45-mile-an-hour winds. This is in Ohio. That's like, I thought we were in Scotland, actually. And the teleprompters were bending because they're not strong. They're bending. They're going over. And that didn't matter because within about 2 minutes, they blew off the stage. They actually blew away. And we had 50,000 people. I'm standing there like this. I didn't have any notes, nothing. And you know what? He won the election. Thank you very much, President Trump. He won the election. And other than a few people that saw the things flying away, they flew away beautifully. Nobody even knew. So anyway, no, there's something wrong with her. When you can't get up and make a speech like normally, like with all the work we do, you think you could, for 40 minutes. Well, she makes very short speeches, too. Do you ever notice they're like 10 minutes? It's, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you. My name is Kamala. And she, she'll speak like so routinely. So, and I hate the word. They had word salad. The words. I don't like the sound of it, but it's sort of true. She just they're just words. They're put together. They don't mean anything. How the hell can we have a person like this to be our president? It's crazy. But I will round up the illegal alien gang members, and they will be put in jail or thrown out of our country until not a single one is left. And we're going to call it Operation Aurora, if you don't mind, okay? Because they were the first to come. And this is happening all over the country, by the way. If they come back, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. Because we don't want them to come back. They got to stay out. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer. Thank you very much. No, we have to do that. We have to do it. They're violent people. These are violent. Remember when Kamala said, people that come into our country are far less likely to commit a crime. Really? The fact is, they make our criminals look like very fine people. And that includes our murderers. They are very fine people. These people make us look like a bunch of babies, okay? And we're getting them the hell out of our country. They're destroying our country. They're ruining lives. We're getting them out. Kamala's open border policy will destroy Medicare and Social Security for seniors because they're stuffing them there. They're putting them everywhere, but they're stuffing them in. She let in 21 million people and wants to make them all citizens. She wants to make them citizens because there's no way of telling. They have no records. They have no anything. They let them in totally unvetted. Everyone's coming in, the murderers and whoever. She wants to have them come in, and then they can loot, they can plunder, they can take everything that you've made in your life. They can destroy your lives. They can kill you. They can hurt you. She wants to make them all citizens. It's crazy. It's crazy. Remember, we're the party of common sense, and you know that doesn't work. A new study released this week found that if Kamala gets her way, illegal aliens will drain Medicare and Social Security to the tune of $2 trillion. In other words, they'll be useless, they'll be worthless. You won't get your Social Security worth, she'll kill it. And she has no idea, economically, with finance, she has no idea what the hell she's talking about. They ask her a simple question. When they asked her the other question, that was a disaster because she said, yes, I'll change a lot of things from Biden. And then she gets in trouble because he hates her so much. And she, what do you mean you'll change? So now they're fighting. So she doesn't know what the hell's going on. He's angry. Her people want her to say she'll have nothing to do with Biden because he's a disaster. And then she wants to say that she's okay. But Biden doesn't want that. So they go back and forth. This poor woman doesn't know what the hell is happening. I will protect Medicare and Social Security with no cuts. We're not going to have any cuts. And we're not going to raise the age. She's going to raise the age by 7 years on Social Security. We're going to have no cuts whatsoever. And we didn't have any. And there'll be no benefits for illegals, by the way. Already, Kamala is ransacking Medicare to pay for the Green New Scam. Do you know what the Green New Scam is? She actually wants $93 trillion. Think of this. That's bigger than our budget for like 100 years. 93. You know who made it up? AOC plus 3. We said, did you go to college on the environment? No. Do you have anything to do? This is AOC, right? Do you have anything to do with the environment? No. But I've decided that this is the way it is. All buildings in New York are going to be ripped down and new buildings are going to be built without windows. Because you see, a window is environmentally unfriendly, having to do with the heat, the gases, and the sunlight. The ideal building is tall, thin, with no windows whatsoever. It's a hard sell. If you can get somebody to buy it, you can sell anything. It's the only thing. No, they have the craziest thing I've ever. But the total cost is $93 trillion. So if you add us, China, every other country in the world, and gave us about 40 years, we might be able. These people are crazy. They're destroying our country. They use it almost as a method of hurting us and hurting our country. And some countries laugh at it. You know, China laughs at it. Kerry goes over there on his private jet, lands, meets with President Xi. We don't want you to use coal anymore. Oh, okay, we'll work on that. We're going to start working on it. In the meantime, he's building a coal plant a week. Oh, we'll work on that. Kerry goes, he promised he'd work on it. He promised. What a fool. No, it's so embarrassing. You know, these people are very streetwise. They're brilliant people, and they're at the top of their game. We have a man that 30 years ago wasn't at the top of the game, and she's worse. I'm telling you, she's not as smart as Biden. Watch. And you see it now, and she's fading rapidly in the polls. The only reason she was okay is because nobody knew who the hell she was. They said, Harris. Who the hell is Harris? Nobody knew who she was. And now they're learning that she's a communist. We're learning that all sorts of bad things about her. She's further left than Pocahontas. Do you know Pocahontas? Remember when they wanted me to apologize to Pocahontas? I said, I'll do it, because I destroyed her presidential campaign. She was leading for president, and then she said she was an Indian. Why are you an Indian? Because my mother told me I had high cheekbones. You can't get in trouble when you're telling the truth. That was her reason. And then when I heard that, I said, oh, let's call her Pocahontas. And because she didn't look like an Indian to me. But we drove her crazy, and then she fell for it. She went out and did a test, remember? And it came back 1,024th. In other words, somewhere in a million years, there may have been one guy there. And she was so happy. Remember? She was so happy that she released the finding. She thought it was good because maybe there was a tiny little chance. And then I said, well, I have more Indian blood than she has, and I have none, unfortunately. I'd like to have some. No, I'd like to have some. I would be very honored. But I have none. But I think I have more than she has. And that was the end of her political career. She likes me very much, but Pocahontas. Because of the Medicare cuts, Kamala passed with her tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Creation Act. Did you ever hear of the... I changed the name. I take a little... Much less liberty than 60 Minutes takes, by the way. They would take the whole damn thing out and write it for her. No, it's called the Inflation Reduction Act, right? And I thought... He says, Portia, you're right. The Inflation Reduction Act, and I call it the Inflation Creation Act. So that's not nearly as bad as 60 Minutes. Right? 60 Minutes just took everything out. They say, listen, we put her on. She gave us this answer. If people hear this answer, she will immediately be thrown off. I mean, it's so bad. So why don't we just give her a new answer? So they took it out and gave her an entirely new answer. If I ever did that, or if that were ever about like a Republican, it would be the biggest scandal in history. I think it's going to be anyway. 60 Minutes should be taken off the air for what they've done. Should be taken off the air, and you know what else, John? They should lose their license, because that's not just a little bad stuff. You know, they have licenses, these networks, they're worth billions of dollars, but the one thing is it says you have to be honest. That's election interference. They're interfering with the election, am I right? They should lose their license, and 60 Minutes should be taken off the air. Because of a vote, 560,000 seniors are set to lose their Medicare Advantage plans. Did you know that? Oh, did I ruin your evening? No, it's going to happen in the next few weeks. Because of her vote, 560,000 seniors will lose their plan. In other words, Kamala is shafting fixed income seniors on Medicare to fund $7,500 tax credits for rich people to buy luxury electric cars. You know, we're subsidizing this whole crazy thing with the, again, I love electric cars, but you can't do this. You can't do this. They don't go far. Lots of little problems. They're made in China. We don't have the material. But you know what we do have? A lot of gasoline is down there. A lot of gasoline. I will stand up for our seniors, and I will save Medicare Advantage. So seniors, you must vote for Trump, or you're going to have a very unhappy rest of your life. But you got to get out and vote. You know, I learned the other day, I was saddened by it, because I have the endorsement of the NRA. I have all the, I have everybody endorsement. So, but here I was saddened by this. Evangelicals, where I'm like at 90%, but they typically don't vote very much. In other words, they vote like 15, 20%. If the evangelicals would vote, we would win in a landslide. So evangelicals, you got a lot of them here. Please vote. The other ones, there are two groups, especially, meaning they vote very, very disproportionately low. The other group, you know who doesn't vote? Gun owners. Gun owners. They don't vote. This has been true for 50 years. I think it's a rebellious thing, okay? It's rebellion. They're having a rebellion. Gun owners, get out and vote. Evangelicals, get out and vote. Or you're going to have somebody in office that's going to destroy your country. You also need to defeat your disastrous radical Democrat Senator Jackie Rosen and elect a great patriot to defend your Washington values and your values in Reno. Although, I don't know, Reno, can I talk about great values in Reno? Yeah, I think I can. I'm not sure if everybody's going to believe that one, but I believe it. I know a lot of great people from Reno. We have values and all different values, and you have great values here. Jackie Rosen is a disaster. She votes virtually 100% of the time. Originally, you know, she was a big Barack Hussein Obama. Have you ever heard of him? Remember Rush Limbaugh? Rush Limbaugh, he'd be talking about it, we'd go, Barack, he'd like falling asleep, Barack Hussein Obama. Barack Hussein Obama. We miss Rush, right? But we've got Sean Hannity, and we've got Laura, we've got Jesse. We've got Gutfeld. How do you like Gutfeld? I did his show. You know, I did his show, and he had the highest rating last week, 2 weeks ago. I did his show. He had the highest rating in the history of his show, and he won the entire week in television. How about that? Is that? No, he's good. You know, he used to hate me. He used to hate me. He used to hate Trump. And then after about a year, I just said, that guy really doesn't like me much. Gutfeld, he's a great guy and very talented guy, but he hated me. Oh, it was terrible, and saying bad things. And then after about a year, I noticed it was a change. He said, you know, I don't love this guy, but he does everything. I mean, everything he says, he gets it done. Like, he defeated ISIS in record time. He said he was going to do that. He gave you the largest tax cuts in history, and he said he was going to do it. He got it passed in Congress. He gave you the largest regulation cuts, and he goes through this list. I didn't even know I did that much stuff. But he said, you know, I'm starting to like him, actually. He said, would you rather have a guy that you really like but he gets nothing done, or a guy that you can't stand And everything gets done that's good for the country. I built hundreds of miles of wall. I built 571 miles of wall. I was going to add to it, much more than I said I was going to build. He said he built the wall. Now, I will say this, I was going to add 200 miles more. I didn't promise to do that, but I thought it would be good. And when they came in, they sold a lot of that for 5 cents on the dollar. And I said, you know what? I think they want open borders. That's when I learned. I think they want open borders. But Gutfeld was great. So anyway, he had these great ratings. And now he really likes me a lot because he says, he does everything he says he's going to do. And I say I'm going to do more than anybody else says they're going to do because I'm a worker and I know how to get things done. So I would like you, if you would, because he's a spectacular man. And I'll be honest with you. Stan, would you stand up, please? There is nobody that has ever run for the Senate that has given up so much. He's given up so much. He's a great war hero. And he took a big hit, big hit. He took a hit like nobody takes. And if they took a hit like that, most people wouldn't be around and other people would just, they wouldn't know what to do. This guy, and he's got the greatest wife and family you've ever seen. And nobody has given up so much as Sam. And Sam, I want you to win so badly, and you know that. And he has my full endorsement and all of that stuff. But he's a great guy. And he's doing very well. He's against an unpopular person that has no respect in Washington. So let's see what happens. But he has my total and complete, as I say, endorsement. Thank you, Sam, very much. Thank you for being here. We're also pleased to be joined as well by Senator John Cornyn of Texas. John, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I think John agrees with me on Sam, what Sam has done and what he's given up. And he's a big hero. He really is a big hero. Another great one is Wesley Hunt of Texas. Stand up, Wesley. Wesley's fantastic. He's a great guy. Mark Amadei of right here, right around here. Come on, Mark. Where is Mark? Thank you, Mark. Good. Good job. He's a warrior. And a great football player and a great congressman. I used to watch him on the great Sean Hannity. Does anybody know Sean Hannity? You are right now on Sean Hannity because we're live on Sean Hannity. And he's great. He's great. He's one of the most successful guys in show business, and you wouldn't know it. He's a modest guy, but he's got some mouthpiece, so I got to tell you. He's modest, but those lips move. But we have some really good people, but Sean Hannity is great. And that whole group, Jesse, has been great. Pete Hegseth, Rachel. They have a lot of good people, and then they have a few that I can't stand, I'll be honest with you. And I think it hurts them badly, if you want to know the truth. But they have some really, really good ones, and it's an honor. Who? Tucker's great. Tucker's great. Tucker's great. And speaking of Tucker, because he liked this guy, how did we like J.D. Vance the other night? Right? Right? J.D. Vance was unbelievable the other night. So, Burgess Owens, please stand up. Great football player, great man, great friend of mine. He's been my friend from the beginning, even before the beginning. He was saying, I hope Trump runs. You know him? No, I don't know him, but I think he'd do a very good job. And so he was there before the beginning. And the Nevada GOP chair, we have a man who works his ass off, right? Michael McDonald. Stand up, Michael. So are we going to win, Mike? We're going to win? He's the Nevada chair, and he's working hard. We're 6 points up. Did you know that? But I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it, Michael. Always I say assume that you're 1 point down, right? Assume you're 1 point down. In 4 incredible years under the Trump administration, we achieved more than any administration in the history of our country. We passed record tax cuts, biggest tax cuts in our history. They want to end them, and that would raise your taxes at levels that nobody's ever seen before. You know, you have one thing in those tax cuts that I hope people appreciate. The estate tax for small businesses, farms, and other things, it's non-existent. You are leaving your farm or your small business to your children, and they had to go out and borrow money to pay the tax, and they'd oftentimes lose it and be depressed for the rest of their lives and worse. And I got that out. You don't have any estate. When they end this, that comes back. And that's, you know, I only tell you that to the people that love their children, because if you don't love your children, it's not really worth that much, to be honest. Is there anybody in the room who does not love their children? I've only had, I've said that about 10 times. I've only had one person raise. I said, and I thought he was kidding, and he actually wasn't kidding. But that's a big deal. Think of that. You have no estate tax. You leave your farm now, and they can operate the farm. And, you know, because a lot of farmers, they have great value. But they don't necessarily have a lot of cash. A lot of businesses, they have a value. They have valuable businesses, but no cash. They couldn't pay. They go out, they borrow, and all of a sudden they end up losing it. That won't happen. But if they end our tax cut, you know, that's part of it. So it's to me, it's a very important part. Record tax cuts, record regulation cuts, more than any other administration in history. And we achieved an all-time low unemployment rates, record low poverty rates, and rising wages for everyone at the highest level ever. We had the most successful country in the history of in our history. We never had, and probably in the history of the world, we had never had a period of time like this. And we had, remember this, we also had the best border. Remember that famous, remember the graph that I like more than any graph ever, ever, ever? Because I wouldn't be here. Do you have that graph by any chance? Put it up. I love this piece of beautiful paper. Where is it? Oh, I love it. Oh. I love it. You see the line on the bottom, the red line? That's the lowest point. That was my last day in office. That was the lowest we ever were on illegal immigration. That includes drugs and a lot of other things, too, by the way. But look at that. And then it exploded like a rocket ship. Look what happened to it. And now it's worse than ever. But what a beautiful, even if that red line wasn't there, if it was 2 inches to the right, I'd still say what a beautiful piece of paper. Because if I didn't turn to the right to look at that beautiful piece of paper, I wouldn't be talking to you tonight, you know? Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I just realized I just went like this. Yeah, that's what I did. I went like that. We ended the NAFTA disaster, canceled the TPP, which would have been a disaster for your state, withdrew from the ridiculous, one-sided Paris Climate Accord, and stood up to China. We stood up to China like never before, bringing in tens of billions of dollars when no other president got 10 cents from China. Not Bush, not Obama. They never got. In fact, I put on taxes and tariffs. I took in billions, hundreds of billions of dollars from China. It never happened before. And don't let that baby bother you, because it doesn't bother me. To me, it's that beautiful. Where is that baby? That's a good-looking baby. Don't worry about it, Mom. It doesn't bother me. You know what it means? Happy, youthful, beautiful baby, perfect baby. Thank you. We had the most secure border in U.S. history, fully rebuilt the U.S. military, and created a thing called Space Force. That hasn't been done, remember that, that hasn't been done since Air Force 82 years ago. We obliterated ISIS, and with the Abraham Accords, we made peace in the Middle East, but Biden didn't follow it up. They don't follow anything up. I'm proud to be the first president in decades to have started no new wars. I finished wars. And I also gave you $35 insulin, which Biden and Kamala are trying to take. You know, I was the one that did it. And, you know, it's interesting because I did it, but it doesn't kick in for like 2 or 3 years by statute. And when it kicked in, I said, you know, I better win this thing because otherwise whoever the hell is president, they're going to take credit for $35 insulin. No, I did it. I did it. But those 4 wonderful years of peace and prosperity have been followed by 4 years of misery and failure under the worst president and vice president in American history by far. It's true. It's true. In fact, Jimmy Carter is the happiest man today. You know, he's almost 100, I guess. He's celebrating. He's very close to 100. And he is now happy because he goes down as a brilliant president by comparison to Biden. He didn't have a border like this. He didn't have the problems that we have. We're going to end up in third world war with this guy. We're going to end up in a third world nuclear war because of this guy, because he doesn't have a clue what the hell he's doing. And she is worse. Remember I said it. She is worse than him. She's not as smart as him, and he's not smart at all. But here are the facts. Kamala Harris is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than Bernie Sanders. She was an original creator of defund the police movement. Think of that. Anybody that was involved in defund the police, even for a day, let alone years, is not worthy of being president of the United States because we cherish our police. We cherish our police. Kamala Harris vowed to abolish. She vowed to abolish ICE. You know, ICE, these are great patriots. They also happen to be tough people. They take MS-13 gang members out. They deposit them back in their country where they came from. It's a tough job. I mean, I have some tough friends in the front row. They don't want to be a member. Would you like to be a member of ICE and run into a pack of MS-13 killers and swing it out for about 2 hours and then stand up and say, let's get them out of here? You wouldn't. Tough guys don't want any part of it. They're tough and they're smart. But you know what? They love our country and they do an incredible job. And she wants to get rid of them. She wants to get rid of ICE. It's not going to happen. She wants to ban fracking, as you know. She wants to ban anything having to do with fossil fuel. She imposed the natural gas export ban and is now shutting down power plants and destroying our electric grid with her crazy Green New Scam regulations. Energy prices are already up this year 50%. In Nevada, under Kamala, they're going higher. They're going to be maybe double within a year from now. She lost more. And here's to me the worst, because she said no, she'd like to keep everything just the way it is. This is to me the worst. She lost 325,000 migrant children. They're gone. They're gone. No, but you can't understand. Think of it. 325,000 children are missing. Most of them are dead, in my opinion. And they might, she said all of them, they might be all. They're either sex slaves, dead, or just missing. But many of them are dead. And she said, I want to keep it just like we've had it. There's never been a travesty like that. Think of that. Think of that in relation to wars and everything else. There's never been anything like that. They're innocent kids. Their parents will never see them again, most likely, most of them. And she has the 13,000 illegal alien convicted murderers roaming free in our country, free to kill again. As California Attorney General, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as totally non-violent crimes. No, she's radical left. She just moved a little bit toward MAGA when she realized she wasn't getting any votes, right? In fact, we're going to send her a MAGA hat, I think, tonight. And she pledged to confiscate your guns and endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. She sponsored a bill to oppose a 100% ban on gas-powered automobiles. Can you imagine that? You have to give up your automobile. Darling, I really want to drive to Washington, but I don't want to make 7 stops. She even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention. At taxpayer expense, one of the most expensive operations, by the way. That's the least of the problems. And perhaps most revealing of all, she lied about working at McDonald's. How simple is that? No, she said everything that she had. I worked hard at McDonald's for a long time. I worked over the French fry bin. You know what I'm doing next week? I'm going to a McDonald's to work. Because if I work there for 10 minutes, I will have worked there longer than her. You know, in many ways, I don't like talking because it's so basic. You know, it's just so. But there's something beautiful about it, too. It's so simple. She said she worked at McDonald's, meaning I worked so hard. It's hard work. She worked at McDonald's. It turned out to be a lie. She's a liar. That's why I call her Lion. That's why I call her Lion. I had her as comrade. Okay, here's another poll. Who likes Comrade Kamala Harris? Comrade meaning like, you know, sort of a communist thing. Or who likes Lion? Let's do Comrade first. Who likes Comrade? Comrade Kamala Harris. Lion Kamala Harris. I guess that's the end of that one. But with your vote this November, you know, I did 3 of them today. I did a little one, a little tiny one with a small group, and then I did a really big one. I did a big one, and I did this one, and I'm still raring to go. They say, how the hell do you get the energy? How do you get the energy? How do you get that energy? But I love doing it. You know why? Because I see it. We're making so much progress. We're exposing her for what she is, an incompetent communist. And people aren't going to have that because we don't have a choice. If we don't win this election, you know, there are those people that say you'll never have another election if we don't win this one. That could be possible. Look at Venezuela. Look at so many places. It sounds far-fetched. It's not at all. Look at what's happened in just 3.5 years. Look at what's happened to our country in 3.5 years. We have to get out. We have to win this election. But with your vote this November, we are going to defeat these radical left country destroyers, and we are going to finish what we so brilliantly started. We had it going so good. On day one, I will close the border. I will stop the invasion of illegals into our country. And we will begin the largest deportation operation in the history of the United States. We have no choice. The illegal migrants coming into our country are taking the jobs of American citizens. But you know what they're really taking? The jobs of Black and Hispanic workers. They're taking the jobs. Black community, Hispanic community is being decimated by what's happening. They're coming in and they're taking the jobs. And you know what's going to be next? Unions are going to become, they're going to be next. They're going to take a lot of union jobs away. They're going to take jobs away, period. But the Black community, you saw the bad numbers last week. They were terrible. They got down. You know why? Because they're hiring people. Well, you had a job for years, and now all of a sudden somebody else is taking the job. And it's also affecting the Hispanic people. And my numbers with the Black, and especially Black men, I love Black men. I love them. I love them. I have gone through the roof with Black men. Black men. I don't do quite as well with Black women, I must say. I don't know why, but I'm sure that'll work out too. But I do appreciate it. I do. And we're doing unbelievably with Hispanic. The Hispanic population has been incredible. We will quickly become energy independent as we were before and make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. We will frack, 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 and drill, baby, drill. Get our prices down. And we will terminate the insane mandate demanding that you have to have all electric. Everybody has to have an electric car within a very short period of time. That goes for trucks and everything else. You know, the truckers, it doesn't work. The battery is so heavy. You know that a battery for a truck is so heavy that you'd have to rebuild every bridge in America because they can't handle the weight. That doesn't affect these people. The other thing is you'd have 6 stops between New York and Los Angeles. With diesel, you'd have none and can even come back 10%, okay? You'd have none. Think of it. And it takes up a lot of payload. But think about it. It's much heavier. The battery's very heavy, right? Very, very heavy. You would have to rebuild every bridge in America because it's not designed for that kind of a load. Can you believe it? And I said to this gentleman, one of the big truckers, one of the biggest, maybe the biggest in the world, I said, have you told them that, yes, what did they say? We don't care. We want you to build all electric. And he ain't doing it. I'll tell you, he's not doing it. I said, how many trucks do you have? He said, 29,000. I said, you got 29,000. How big are they? They're all 18-wheelers. Is that what it is? The big ones are 18-wheelers. And he said, you must be very rich. He said, I'll tell you what, they're going to try and make me poor. He said, you know, he said something interesting. He said, sir, I've been buying trucks for 50 years, and every year they get better, more efficient, stronger, bigger, better looking. And now we even build beautiful, I call them an apartment. We build beautiful apartments behind that cab, and they are beautiful. This guy loves trucks, and they are beautiful. Sir, honestly, you'd be proud to live in one of them. And I said, How about the First Lady? You think she'd love it? I don't know. I don't know if she'd love it. I can handle it. I don't know if she would like it. I don't know if she... By the way, go buy her book. Her book is great. I was a little nervous when I read it because I said, I wonder if she's going to be hitting me hard. No, she was very nice. Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend it. It's very simple. Now, go buy it. It's great. It's number one bestseller. I will stop outsourcing and turn the U.S. into a manufacturing superpower. Working with Elon Musk, we will slash a record amount of government waste. He's good at that. That's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to be a secretary. He doesn't need it. He's got rocket ships all over the place. He's a wild man, I'll tell you. But you know what he wants to do? He said, I can cut costs, trillions of dollars, and nobody will be even affected, and our country will be back in great shape. Between that and charging countries that come in and plunder and steal, we'll have a country that's a machine. We're going to make a beautiful machine, and then we're going to take all that money and pay off debt and help people that are not in good shape and sick and old and tired. But he wants to do that. He doesn't want anything. He doesn't want a title. He just wants to say, look, there's so much waste and abuse and fraud. You ever hear the expression, fraud, waste, and abuse, right? Levels that you wouldn't even believe. You know, when I cut the price of Air Force One, I bought it. Sir, it will be $5.8 billion. I said, nope, I'm not doing it. I was supposed to walk in and sign it because I said, who negotiated the contract? They said, Barack Hussein Obama. I said, well, then it's too high. They said, why do you say that, sir? Because he negotiated it. It's too high. And I said, it has to have a 3. You know that, sir. It has to have it. So I waited, Boeing. And then finally they said, oh, boy. Because, you know, they thought they had. So think of it. If I didn't do that, they would have made $1.7 billion. I said, because they ultimately cut it down to $3,999,99999 1 penny. I said, it's got to have a 3 in front. This had a 5 and it's 5.7. So I said, let me ask you a question. So if I didn't come along, you would have made 1.7, same exact plane, right? Except I had a much better paint job, much nicer. It's true. It was red, white, and blue the way it should be. It wasn't baby blue, it was blue. Not that little baby blue. But no, I did a great job on it. But I said to the head of Boeing, I said, this was before the 2 planes went down. This is before the problems for Boeing. You know, Boeing was considered maybe the greatest, but certainly one of the greatest companies in the world, and now they've suffered a lot. But this was before. I said, you mean if I didn't come along, you would have made $1.7 billion on this. Actually, it's 2 planes, you know. Air Force One is actually 2 planes, 2 identical planes, 747s. You would have made $1.7 billion? He said, well, we have, of course, you know, they would try. The answer is they would have made $1.7 billion. So Elon's actually right, because they shouldn't make that kind of money on it. But I got him down $1.7 billion. It took about 2 months of not returning phone calls. I will end the war in Ukraine, stop the chaos in the Middle East, and prevent World War III. I will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect they so dearly, look, you know that, they dearly deserve it. We're going to give our police their respect back. They want to do the job. No, but think of that with all the criminals that are being put in all over the world. This is not just South America. We mentioned Venezuela, but it's all over the world. Crime is down all over the world. Prison populations are down all over the world. They're delivering into the United States mental patients, prisoners, killers, drug dealers, gang members, criminals, street criminals. They're all here. They're all going to be here soon. We're not going to allow it to happen. Not going to happen. We will strengthen and modernize our military. We will build a missile defense shield, all made in the USA. And we will not have a woke military. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. You'll like this.
You little scumbag! I got your name! I got your ass! You will not laugh! You will not cry! You will learn by the numbers!
Happy Pride. Happy Pride Month, and actually, let's declare it a summer of pride.
So you're a killer? Sir, yes, sir! Let me see your war face! Sir, you got a war face? Ah! That's a war face! Now let me see your war face! Ah! Bullshit! You didn't convince me! Let me see your real war face! Ah! You will be a weapon. You will be a minister of death, praying for war. But until that day, you are pukes. You are the lowest form of life on earth. You are not even human fucking beings. You are nothing but unorganized, grabastic pieces of amphibian shit.
How to abracadabra, these bitches know I got answers the way I...
It looks to me like the best part of you ran down to cracking your mama's ass and ended up as a brown stain on the mattress. I love working for Uncle Sam. I love working for Uncle Sam. Let me know just who I am. Let me know just who I am. 1, 2, 3, 4, United States Marine Corps. 1, 2, 3, 4, United States Marine Corps.
It may not be politically correct, but we won 2 world wars. We won 2 beautiful, big, ugly wars. And we are in a woke mode. Look, I defeated ISIS in a matter of weeks. It was supposed to take years. And those people did it. And I had great generals, not the guys you see on television that don't know what the hell they're doing. And they are woke. But the military, you could take these military guys that we have and put them into a woke cage. They call it a woke cage. Scream at them for 2 years about wokeism, and they come out and they want to beat your ass. We have very tough, smart, great military. We have to take care of our military, though. We gave billions and billions of dollars of it to Afghanistan, to the Taliban. You know, we didn't have 1 soldier killed in 18 months. They were going along killing our soldiers. And I made a phone call, and the fake news, that's a lot of fake news back there. Look. The fake news. That's a lot. That's a lot of cameras. It's amazing when I watch and I see those red lights. You know, when the red lights are on them. And sometimes I'll point to them, and as soon as I start pointing, those lights go off so fast. We will lead the world in space and reach Mars before the end of my term, and we will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. And I will support universal school choice, very important. And we will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools. And we will keep men out of women's sports. I will defend the Second Amendment, protect religious liberty, restore free speech, and we will secure our elections. Under the Trump administration, we will put American citizens first, American children first, American patients first. You cannot get into a hospital, by the way, because the migrants have all of the beds. You cannot get into a hospital. You cannot get your kids into a school because there are migrants there that don't even speak the language. It's unbelievable. They're giving, because of Biden and Kamala, they're giving precedence over your children who've been in that school. Is it not even thinkable? I will put American taxpayers first, American workers first, and American communities first. And we will put communists and Marxists and fascists last. We're going to put them last, way down at the bottom. And they will always be last. We will defend our territory. We will not be conquered. They're trying to conquer us. Think of it. These guys are walking in with guns that are more sophisticated than our military has. They have no money. They come in from different parts of the world, and they have better guns than we have. There's something going on, but I'll get to it very quickly. It's going to end. It's going to end unpleasantly for them. We will reclaim our sovereignty, and I will give you back your freedom, your life, and your country. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive. And every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. We're going to bring back the American dream. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda once and for all. We want a landslide that is too big to rig, too big to rig. And again, early mail-in voting is underway, and you have to get out there and do it and get everyone you know to vote. Because think of this. After everything that we've been through a lot together, right? These are vicious, horrible people. I call it the enemy from within. We stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. If we win this election, we're going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. With your help, from now until Election Day, we will redeem America's promise. We will put America first, and we will take back the nation that we love. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. And together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. Thank you, Reno. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you all.
to feel down. I said, young man, pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man, 'cause you're in a new town. There's no need to be unhappy. Young man, there's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're short on your dough, you can stay there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything, so you're meant to enjoy. You can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. You can get yourself linked. You can have a good meal. You can do whatever you feel. Young man, are you listening to me? I said.
All right, good times there in Reno, Nevada tonight. A little bit of a remix of YMCA. As you saw President Trump's reaction to that, but still great times in the Silver State tonight. I'm Matthew Alvarez here at the Right Side Broadcasting Network studios. Next up for President Trump will be Coachella, California tomorrow, and then Prescott Valley, Arizona. So a lot of coverage coming up right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. A lot of news of the day as well. 2 campaign stops for President Trump, one in Colorado, and then one right there in Reno, Nevada. You could see the people still having a good time there. As many of you have been to rallies and events and have watched Right Side Broadcasting Network, good vibes, good times, and hopefully a big win coming up in 25 days from now. So a number of sponsors to thank, and then we will be closing out the night here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. So Birch Gold Group is one of those great sponsors. All you have to do is text Trump to 989898 for more information on Birch Gold. You've got a free info kit. You can also get a free Fight Silver coin with a purchase with Birch Gold Group. Let's go now to the wellness company, MakeCareGreatAgain.com. MakeCareGreatAgain.com. You see that information there on your screen. We've got a couple of the kits right here, the Contagion Emergency Kit and the Medical Emergency Kit. All you have to do is go to MakeCareGreatAgain.com and use that promo code RSBN for 15% off. Next up, FreeTrumpBook.com. FreeTrumpBook.com, a great sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. We thank Mike Huckabee and his team for writing these books for not only the youth of America, but also anyone pretty much. Always good to know more about how to make America great, and also President Trump's first administration, all of the great things he has done for this nation and what he will do coming up as the 47th Commander-in-Chief, as we work hard, pray hard, and believe for the right direction of our country. Also, the Trump knife, another sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. These are custom-made Trump knives. You can get 20% off by using the promo code RSBN20. You see that information right there on your screen, freeknifeusa.com. Get some more information there. That's patriotaddictsdeals.com as well. Another awesome sponsor, as you guys know, Mike Lindell, the MyPillow.com, the MyPillow store. You see those great prices right there on Right Side Broadcasting Network. If you use the RSBN promo code, you'll get a deep discount for all of those pillows, but also there's other items out there. You've got the slides right here. You've got the Go Anywhere pillow, Mike Lindell's Go Anywhere pillow. Pretty cool stuff. And one more product I'll show you real quick. Got to reach down for it. Ready? It's my coffee. This stuff's actually very good. So mypillow.com, get some products for Mike Lindell right there. Also, if you'd like to donate to Right Side Broadcasting Network, all you have to do is text RSBN to 801-801. All of the correspondents, the hosts, the behind the scenes, the camera operators, all of the live coverage from coast to coast obviously comes at a price. We have great sponsors that assist with that, but obviously the viewers have helped since day one back in 2015 here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. So again, President Trump in California tomorrow. Before he goes to Coachella, California, he actually has a roundtable in Nevada. So we're going to have coverage for both Nevada and California tomorrow. And then he will be on his way to Arizona to wrap up this huge West Coast tour. 4 stops, 3 states, brought to you by the Trump campaign. And we're covering every step of the way, and any other news that breaks when it comes to America First, as we are 25 days from the fork in the road for our nation. For Christina Loren and Mike Fortin out there in Reno, Nevada, and all of us here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, I'm Matthew Alvarez. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Hi folks, RSBN founder and CEO Joe Seals here. Did you know there is nearly $1 trillion of infrastructure and pandemic funds yet to be spent? That's right, there's a massive amount of money that the lame duck administration is pushing hard to spend in their last few months. If the president is able to push these funds out, we could see another prolonged inflation surge, just like during COVID. And I'm sure you remember the terrible effects that high prices had on most Americans. But there's hope. A surge in prices can be beaten. A gold IRA from Birch Gold Group is the ultimate inflation hedge for your savings in uncertain times. To see how to protect your IRA or 401k, get your free info kit on gold by texting the word Trump to 989898. Birch Gold makes it seamless to roll over your retirement account while preserving your tax advantage status. Don't wait for the president's spending spree to tank the dollar further. Protect your financial future now. Text Trump to the number 989898 for your free info kit from Birch Gold.